Yeah, thank you, Mummy. I would like again to first say that all the Scrum Masters, both Scrum Masters and all the teams have actually done really well in this sprint. I could see their metrics. They had actually completed their tasks, and the reflection of the work done this week is really nice. And the presentation was also nice. So I really want to give kudos and good job to everyone. But again, there are just still a few points and a few areas of improvement and areas that could be improved in your presentations as Scrum Masters. So for the first team that presented, which is Team Agile, I think I saw in your slide, I just want to say generally, like, we should all be mindful of what we put in our slides and be sure that we are inputting the right things in the slide. Because the first team, you said something about sprint retro, but it should be like the action plans from the retrospective. So when you said retrospective, like sprint 2 retrospective, uh it felt as if you did the retrospective, but you did not like input. You don't have an action plan and an action point. But when you further explained, you kind of like explained that you had action points from sprint 2. So I think it should be more like sprint 2 action plans. And I also see that you now included the sprint goal. It was not included last sprint. So I can see that you're actually taking into consideration all the areas of improvement that was being said. So it's really nice to see that you had a sprint goal this sprint, and you were also able to explain what the sprint goal was, which is really good. You were like you had done a lot of like improvement within your sprint this within your squad this sprint that you probably were not able to do last sprint. So it's really good to see growth, and it's really good to see improvement within the team. But I would just have liked that the presentation was a little bit more organized. Like, if you want to talk about your sprint report, talk about it first before moving to the spoke about the sprint report, then you spoke about the action plans. Like, okay, we did completed our team charter. Then the next thing again, you spoke about the sprint report, the sprint metric. So if you want to speak about the sprint report, speak about the sprint reports, what the sprint goal was, what you like, the metrics, the product the burn down chart, velocity chart. And then let's know that you are done talking about the sprint. Then you can now talk about the action plans and improvement plans that the team has done. And you would have, yeah, and then the action plans for the team, like you completed team charter, the estimation, etc. It could also be on another slide, like I said, and just like general improvements for your presentation skills would just be nice. And I could tell that the person who presented was a little bit, I don't know, I think probably it's your first time, but I could tell that you were probably a little bit not as confident. And also time management. You need to understand that we are Scrum Masters and we'll be doing a lot of facilitation. I expect that even if the QAs, I mean, everybody generally should have a time management skill, but as Scrum Masters, you should be able to understand how important time management is. So try to make efficient use of your time. Maybe you need to cut down some things in your presentation and make it more high level so that you'll be able to like make use of your timing more efficiently and effectively. And you also mentioned something about the status of the product backlog items at the moment. I think that personally, in my opinion, you could probably leave that for the BAs. I feel like the product owners and the business analysts most times manage the product backlog. So putting including that in your presentation might it's actually taking more of your time. You could leave that to the BAs to present and focus on improvement plans for the team, how the team can improve, and that would have been nice. It would have helped with your presentation, with your timing and your time management skill. But overall, it was a really good presentation. I was really impressed that a lot of things have been achieved by the team this sprint. Like you've been able to improve on a lot of things, and I was really impressed. So thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for also putting into consideration all the things that was said last sprint during your review. It was really nice to see. Thank you. And for Timbana, you guys, I was really impressed that everything I noted down last sprint, most of it were actioned on in this sprint review, which made me very impressed and made me feel like I'm not just saying for saying sake, but you guys are actually taking into considerations what we are actually talking about in the review. And also good job completing the team charter for both teams actually, both Team Agile and Team Binary. I saw that you're taking your time with your teams to complete the team charter, and I also have it documented, which is really good. The definition of ready, definition of done, your team ceremonies, like your values, everything had been documented as well. And then you said something for Team Binary, the Scrum Master said something. I also saw it in the slide that 17 PBIs were developed by the Scrum Master. It was the same thing I was saying. Like you need to be careful of what you say on your slides and also what you say as Scrum Masters in your presentation, because when you say the Scrum Master committed and developed 17 PBIs, it made it look like the Scrum Masters were the one that did all the work. Rather, it should be something like the Scrum team committed to and developed 17 features or 17 product backlog items, as the case may be, not the Scrum Masters. I was not sure. I had to go back to your slide to be sure that that was what I saw. But that was indeed what I saw, and that was indeed what you said. So I'm just saying generally, like you need to be careful about what you say. Make sure that you are saying the right things, using the right terms, and explaining things the right way, so that it doesn't put it off as if the developers did not do anything, or the BAs were not there doing the sprint planning to doing the sprint planning. Make it like try to be distinct and be sure of what you are saying. Be careful of what you are saying rather. So it was not the Scrum Master that committed and developed. The Scrum team committed to product backlog items and they developed it. And also another thing that also made me impressed was the metrics. The way you explained your burn down chart was really impressive. And I forgot to mention for Team Agile that it would be nice for you to improve on that aspect, because you showed the metrics. I understand what it is, but I'm not sure that you understand what it is. So it would be nice for Team Agile, I'm talking about Team Agile now, to be able to explain what the metrics are saying. So for Team Binary, regarding the metrics, it was really nice to see that you really understood what you were saying in terms of bugs, in terms of why you had a scope change. You explained that um you committed more things to the sprint. Although you said the BAs added things to the sprint, but the BAs cannot just add things to the sprint if the scrum team do not agree to it, or if the development team do not agree to it. So I believe that the scrum team and the development team agreed to adding more things during the sprint. So there was a scope change, which you accounted for and which you explained, which was really good. You explained why there was a scope change. You explained what the burn down is. You explained what the 61 percentage was, and why you were not able to complete the stories this sprint as well. So you need to note that the metrics again is a visual representation of how the team has worked during the sprint. And again, I'm quite impressed that you explained what happened during the sprint. You explained the way you worked during the sprint with your burn down charts, with your sprint burn down charts. So there's no good or bad metrics. I would like to say there's no okay, we did a good job, or no, we did a bad job. There's no good or bad metrics. It only shows that this is how the team had worked in the sprint. And you can always improve. I can see that the team did not complete some of the tasks this sprint. And as Scrum Masters, generally for both Team Binary and Team Agile, I hope that you can reflect on the reasons why this has happened, the reasons why your team was not able to complete some of the product backlog item that they've committed to at the beginning of the sprint. Try to discuss this in your retrospective, try to reflect on it. Remember that Scrum and Agile generally, the Agile mindset is about inspecting, being transparent, and also adapting the things that you've inspected in your sprint, the way you work in your sprint, and developing new ways to improve and adapting it in your ways of working. So it would be nice to see this improvement plan, this these actions that you have developed to tackle this commitment reliability issue. So these actions to improve the way you work will be nice to see in your next presentation. I'm glad that you were able to understand and to explain what the metrics is. So I hope that in your next presentation, after you explain and you tell us what has happened, and if they are based, if you and your team, if the old Scrum team decides that there are ways to improve, it would be nice for us to see what these improvement actions are for the next sprint. Because if you are presenting this to your stakeholders and you tell them that you did not complete, you were not reliable on your commitment this sprint, they would like to know what is the way forward and what you plan to do with those items you didn't complete, and how you are going to not make sure you don't make it happen again. So overall, really, to both teams, it was really nice that you have done a lot of things and you've improved on yourself, and the team generally has improved. I'm really impressed, and thank you so much. That'll be all from me.
Good evening, everyone. Team Binary and Team Agile. Well done, guys. I can see that team is beginning to have started understanding better what they're supposed to do, the processes, what each team rules process and all that. So well done. However, I will just point out a few things as well. I'll start with Team Agile. Well done, guys, for reflecting from your last sprint, what you need to take into the new sprint and working and improving on it. It's quite good for you guys to do that. It makes you understand better what you're going to be doing in the next sprint. So based on your slide as well, and I can see that you've decided to work closely with only active team members. It would have been good for you to kind of explain the reason why. Is that the best approach? What made you to take that decision? How did you get to that decision to kind of isolate those who are not active and just carry on working with the active ones? What have you done? How did you get to that step as well? Then I'm going to move into your second slides when you talked about your UAT testing. Good that team members are working together and having a shot at all the PBIs. At least that's good for practice as well and improvement. But if you look at your because I can see where you've written your results, talking about your UAT as well, you tested 34 stories and 2 bugs were identified and corrected by the QAs. Let's understand the process very well and be mindful of what you're putting on your slides, saying that the QAs corrected the bugs identified. QAs do not do not correct bugs. They identify the bugs and pass it on to the developers who correct the bugs. So QAs do not correct bugs, they just identify and kind of document those bugs and inform the developers who would work on the bugs, and then they will retest. So saying that the QAs corrected the bugs, can that be changed and understood that they don't correct the bugs? They identify, but you know the correction on the bugs, yeah. Then on your PBIs, I can see the screenshots. I can see the titles, but I can't see the content. I'm not sure what is in there. It could be any screenshot of anything. It should have been good if you had kind of elaborated better on or spoken more about the PBIs. Let us understand what is the content of the page, because I can see what it is, but I don't know what is in there. It's just a screenshot that is not really clear. So what exactly is in that screenshot that you've put there? I will say, well done on introducing the new projects to the team. That's very, very good, you know, like you've told us what you're going to be working on in the next sprint. You've told us how you've started putting your wireframes, how you started writing your stories on your Azure DevOps. You've created epics, you have your features, you have a process in place for the next sprint, which means that there will be stories ready for the team to commit in the next sprint. And the developers can work, testing can be done, and the sprint is commencing. Hopefully, you're able to achieve an increment at the end of that sprint. You know, you've explained your sprint goal, you've told us what you're working on, which is good. So we can normally you would be able to kind of deliberate and kind of decide, okay, is this what we're taking in? Is this not what we're taking in? Which is good. Your sprint planning is obviously going to kick off. So that's really, really good as well. And your wireframe, same, you've put your wireframe in there. I don't know what it is. It's just a screenshot. It's not telling me what it is. And you didn't tell me as well what this wireframe is. What is it exactly? What is in there? What is the content of your wireframe? You put the user journey mapping as well. You just told me this is the user journey mapping. This is the wireframe of what? What is inside? What is it? What are you saying to me? You know, it would be good for us to understand what you're working, what you're trying to tell us. What is in that? What is the content of those screenshots in there? It's good as well that you've had workshops with the team members. It shows that the team is building. You're going from one stage to the other. You're beginning to understand each other better and all that. It will help to build the team. Communication, collaboration is good. It helps you to achieve your work easier, you know. It makes the process smoother for the team and all that. And it will be good to tell us the number of stories that you've committed in the sprint, that was committed in the sprint. How many stories did you have ready? How many were committed? How many were developed? Talk more about the actual project, the sprint, you know. Let me know what is happening in sprint, what was achieved, what you committed this, what was achieved. Yeah, you said you've tested 34 bugs, but you said 32 stories were tested and 2 bugs were found. Did you commit 32 stories? Was it less than? Was it all the stories that were developed? Let's understand what has happened in that sprint. Have you gone half of the sprint? Have you been able to achieve half of the stories that was committed? Let's understand the process, you know. Well done to the guys, to be honestly. They've done really well. They seem to have, like I said, understood what they're doing better. A little bit more work, you know, but it's going well. Things are going in place. It's going well. And I'll just go to Team Binary as well. For Team Binary, well done, guys. Yeah. Well done, guys. I can see you showing us things like your stakeholder matrix, you know, your RACI charts and small of things that you've done as a team. Well done, well done. It's good that you're showing us that, you know, same as in Agile, you know, you've just put screenshots of your PBI. Nobody really spoke about it. It's just a screenshot of the product backlog, rather. You just went through it. We don't really know what it is. You know, what are you working on? You know, you've introduced your sprint goal, but what exactly are you working on? You know, let's understand all those kind of things. You know, you've just put screenshots, user stories, no title, description, acceptance criteria. You just told us what this page is, but you've not told us what it is. Some user story by team members. What is the user story? What is the title? What is the person writing, or what is the person working? What has that person written on for the developers to work on? What exactly is the content? You know, it's just the same screenshots, kind of not really introducing the story. So let us understand the title of what you're working on. What is that screenshot? What is the content of the page? You know, well done on your use case diagram. It shows that you guys are actually following what you've been taught in your classes. You know, for you to be able to come together, you do your use case diagram. You've done the mind mapping of the SharePoint deliverables, which is good as well. That's really, really good and impressive. And I'll say well done too, because I spotted something. You've put active team members. You've actually done it in a very, very simple and visually represented it. I don't even need to look too much to understand what is in there. Well done to Shadrach, Ogini, and Patricia. You guys seem to be pulling a lot of the team. So well done. You've been doing a lot of work Well done to you too. And I noticed something. The person that was presenting seemed to be using the word I a lot. It's teamwork. So it would be good if you guys do that work together. You're saying that it's the team. We did this together. We did that. We did that. Not I. It looks like you're working in isolation, even though I know you probably are not. But it would be good to kind of use that word we when you're working as a team instead of I, so that it's like the whole team is working together, not just you standing out and doing your own thing. Now, for Team Binary, I would have loved to see some more things, because it seems like you were telling me about your team building process, the team itself, but not the project that you're working on. I would have loved to see your project mandates, things like your requirements elicitation. What are you working on your next sprint? What have you been working on in this stream? It seems like you spent more of your time building the team and not actually the work. So show us next time your definition of done, your acceptance criteria, what you're working on in your next sprint, how, if you've had any meetings with your POs, go into depth to know any new requirements. Is there anything that had to be changed? Maybe any scope increase, or maybe any scope change or something. Tell us more about the project. Let's understand more about what you're working on, not the team itself. Tell us more about all those things. Let's know, so that next sprint, we know that, yes, this is what you're doing. You have how many stories ready for your sprint, what is going to be committed, what is in BA done, what has been approved. Your sprint is tomorrow. Same for the other team. What has been approved by your project and your PO? What are you going to be working on? Tell us more about that. So well done to you both teams. I think you've all done well. Go back and reflect like you did before. Reflect on what you can improve. There's a lot of improvement, and there's still more process opportunities for improvement here. So well done to you guys. Thanks. That's all from me.
Hope you can all hear me.
Yes, I can hear you well.
Thank you very much. Okay, first of all, I really need to say a big thank you to both teams. It's been wonderful. Though I wasn't around during the previous presentation, but coming in now and just looking at the slides and the presentation and the level of confidence displayed, wow, I'm like, are you sure these guys are the new interns, or these are advanced team? Because, the slide itself speaks a lot. Information contained within, they are quite awesome. So to start with, from the Agile team, I think the ADM was from the Binary team. I can't remember hearing ADM from the Agile team. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
We don't have any ADM.
Good. Yeah. I just want to be sure that I didn't miss that, because I know it was the SM that I heard. But all the same, it's okay. Because the way the job goes these days, if you go to different companies, you will notice that some companies will use the project manager for the role of the ADM and the senior scrum master. Some will say they want a project manager, and before you know it, they're giving you all the different responsibilities of a scrum master and an ADM. Some will say they want an ADM, and then when you look at the job spec, they're telling you about facilitating, they're telling you about, your risk management log and all that stuff. So it's good where you are at the moment. I really must point that out, that just ensure that you learn from what every other person is doing, okay? Just like the BA just mentioned, talking about the QAs, what they do, are they the one responsible for correcting the log and all that, the bug and all that stuff. So these are experience that you add along the way. So don't just say, oh, I'm an ADM. I just focus on the responsibilities of an ADM. Oh, I'm a project manager. I just focus on that alone. No, it's not going to be helpful. Where you are, ensure you learn as much as possible. Okay, because currently, like what I do, it cuts across what the ADM does, the senior scrum master does, the project manager does. All these different responsibilities, everything come together, and it's what I just need to pull through in managing quite a number of teams. So yeah, kudos to everyone. The presentation was good. I just wanted to, I think the BA did started that. When I listened to the first team, and I will just wondering when you talked about inactive members, and I was like, oh, okay, the members are inactive, and then they decided to focus on those that are active. So, but my question was, what was done? Okay, do you understand why some of those members are inactive? What exactly is the reason? So that's something that one might want to look at. What is the reason? Why are they not active? Okay, what exactly is the situation with them? So a senior scrum master, as an ADM, when you're managing different teams, you look at such concerns. You should be able to, at least you should have an idea, okay, so that when the scrum master gives this report, you should have a summary of what has happened in case the internal stakeholders request from you, okay, because you're managing the project for delivery, so you should be able to say something about that. That's just on one side. Now to the ADM for the binary team. Thank you very much. You did a good job. And just looking at your slide, I was wondering, say, wow, you're doing so much, and some of your responsibilities, you kind of pack along, collate most of the Scrum Master's duties. Also, you added it to what you're doing, like you did mention that you had to go to the board, look at some tickets that should have moved from one point to the other, and if they're not moved, you find out from the Scrum Master, okay, why is this ticket still here? And you know, so in most cases, okay, not all, in most cases, that's the job of the Scrum Master, to monitor how the team members move their tickets, and then on your own side, you get a report, and that report might come in different ways. You monitoring what is happening within the team might just be in form of creating a Gantt chart, and within your Gantt chart, you kind of see the progress of each team. Like team A, they've got 3 tickets at the beginning of the sprint, and this is the state of those tickets. The tickets are 30% gone. The tickets are 60% gone. So when you're communicating with the Scrum Master and the team, you can now say, oh, well, I think last week you did say you've got 4 tickets and then you're 45% gone. So how come it's only 50% done now? Are you saying you've done only 5% increment within the last 1 week? Why is that? Do you have any resources issue? Okay. So those are the kind of monitoring that comes from your own level as an ADM. It's more of a top um, management thing, okay? Not the internal sprint to team management where the Scrum Master is dealing with the developer and the developer and the QA, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so just to create a clear difference between what the ADM does and also what the Scrum Master does, so that you don't mix it up. But in companies, yeah, it's good you understand both, okay? And you're able to function within both lanes. Because in some other companies, just like what I do now, I do both. Okay, so I do both. But I still want you to understand that there are so many other companies there that are agile specific, okay? Many companies also are mixed up. They've got the agile and they also have the waterfall. So as a result of that, you might see these roles being mixed up. Why? Because many of them are transitioning from the waterfall into agile. So it's a gradual process. So they just want to gradually move, and then you have the opportunity to, do everything. But if you now come into a fully agile setting, so it might become a concern because they want you to stick to the agile methodology and not mix up things. So you're in a good place, in the sense that you understand how both ends work. So in general, I just want to say you did a good presentation. I'm just picking out some extra stuff that you can also, work on. Okay, haven't done what you've done, you can because I think I didn't see how you're able to manage the risk on your team. both you and the project manager, how were you able to manage the risk? Because that's one key element in your project that the stakeholders want to see. Okay, they want to see what are the risks involved within this project, and then what is the management process? Okay, what are the mitigation plans that you put in place, and how were they resolved? And then at the end of the day, when you're submitting your report, somebody wants to ask you from the stakeholders' point of view, what is the risk management closure, report? That means how you're able to document the risk, mitigation plans, how they were resolved, when they were resolved. Okay, so they will now say, okay, this particular risk have been resolved, and this one is still pending. Whatever the case may be, someone should be able to look at that and say, okay, this is the situation with your current project. Okay, so because as an ADM, you're interested in how the team can deliver what the stakeholders require at the stated or an agreed timeline. Because this timeline goes with costs. If it takes too long, then what you're doing is it becomes more expensive, and nobody wants that. If there's a budget for a particular project, nobody wants to exceed that. And even if you want to exceed it, there's an allowance that's been created. They don't want to go beyond that stated agreed allowance. Okay, so that's your own role to push the team. You push the scrum masters. Look at your metrics. Look at your Gantt chart. Look at where the scrum master is. Where the team, where they are. If there's anything that needs to be escalated, maybe resources, they are short of a particular resource, then that has been escalated to you, and then you pick that up. You move it to the top management, and then they resolve that. If they need to if you need to discuss with HR to bring in more resources in order for you guys to meet up. Fine. If it will take you to go to other team members and then get other resources to double up, yeah, now those are the kind of things that you use to chase your delivery. But other than that, I think you did a good job, and I saw the list of tools that you also used again. That's another plus point on your side. Thank you so much for that, because at this level, I can see that you're really putting your heart to it, which I really, really must say you're on a good line. And then and also for the PM, I've already mentioned the risk part also, and then on your project, no matter how your project goes, you should be able to you always ensure that you follow all the different phases, okay? What your planning is, what is planned, and what is the actual, okay? And then put a reason to it. This was what was planned, and this is what actually happened. And you now have a reason. It's like a gap analysis, okay? Your gap analysis shows you are in A and you want to move to B. How do you get to? No, let's say you are in A and you want to move to C. So B is in between. So what do you do to get to C, which is that B? So that is the gap analysis. You need to look at something in between to get you there. So all these are skills that a project manager needs to work with, okay, in order to deliver, no matter what project you're going to. So I just want to see how you're able to bring that into what you are doing, okay, even if it's just in a simple statement. So in conclusion, I must say, yes, you guys did a good job. Thank you so much for the level where you are, man. I must say, I'm impressed. Okay, I'm impressed. Okay, and I know definitely that the next presentation that you guys will definitely scale up. So I think that's just a little uh, observation that I have. Thank you so much.
Well done. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Well done to both teams. Jimmy, well done for the Agile team. You did very well. Your presentation was great. And I was just ticking all the boxes. Like I like the the background color of your slides to start with, and your requirement, your RTM was great, as well as your test plan. You had all the screenshots. Apart from the automation, which you had more screenshots on, which was great. Just for the next demo, I would like to see a pass, or even if it's fail, at least to show that you executed the test script. So, but other than that, it was faultless. It was great. It was really, really nice, well structured. You had almost all the screenshots. I think like as I said, it was faultless. I couldn't really find anything that was needed to be there that wasn't there. So you had all the slides. You kind of try and merge everything. Even with the manual, you had a lot of manual screenshots. So for the next demo, which will be for both teams, I don't think we'll need to see any more manual screenshots other than your automation screenshots. So automation screenshots with more features on them, because moving into sprint 3, so you have a lot of backlog from sprint 1 and 2. So you should have more to automate in the next sprint. So yeah, well done to Jimmy for that. Well done. And to binary team, well done, Nathan. Well presented. You had the objective for the sprint, which was great. You had your test report. I liked the fact that you highlighted your test reports with colors, which was great. And you had your defect log. Yeah, and you only had one screenshot of automation, which is all right. And at least it passed. It was showing that you did executed your test script, and you had a screenshot of your Nugget packages on it as well opened, which was great. So well done. So like as I said, for the next demo, I'd like to see only automation screenshots. There'll be no need for any more of the manual screenshots for your next demo. So moving forward, more of automation screenshots, and I would like to see more features on those screenshots. So at least you should have minimum of 3 features on your automation slide for any of the slides that you'll be demoing, and it should be more than one for any of the slides that you'll be presenting. Well done, guys. You guys both did very well. Both teams did very well, and it was a great presentation from both teams. Well done to Jimmy and Nathan. Well done. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to start with Team Agile. So Team Agile, you guys, you went over with some of the tasks that was given for the sprint. The first person's dashboard, yeah, it was a good use of different types of charts. Again, I think you do better if you sort your bars. It will look a lot nicer, and then maybe label them. And then also the donut chart was good. Perhaps try to use black or white font because it's already a dark theme. So if you put white in there, it stands out, just like your title. The second dashboard, user stories and test case analysis. Yeah, this was nice to see. The labels or the legends could have been on one side, and then also the KPIs. You put them in the middle. You could have just made use of the space at the top. Otherwise, it was a very good attempt. I like the shade of the charts and the other bits, which was good. For the tablet dashboard, yeah, this was really good. Sales by age, not I think it's by age group, right? But your title said by age, percentage sales by region. Maybe perhaps sometimes instead of spelling percentage, you could use the sign percentage, and then you see that your map chart and your bar chart will be on the same level. The layout will be nice. So, but this was a very good chart, very good use of stack bar charts. Donut pie. There was variety in this, so this was really good. So well done. Self-development of everyone. This is good. The guys who haven't done CV creation or practice VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, pivot tables, things like that. You need to practice those, because the more you do it, the more you get better at it. Babajide, yes, this was, I think you used Power BI for this. Donut chart was good. The DIM was good, but you could make them bigger. So make use of your space. I like that you sorted your bars in the number of tasks. Maybe perhaps use a percentage so you can grade everyone. Sarah, this chart, I mean, the one on the left and the right are showing the same thing, right? So maybe perhaps you don't need the one on the left, which is basically something like an Excel summation or a pivot summation. The one on the right shows bars. Then maybe perhaps use a percentage to show completeness. I think this is for attendance, but none of these is showing what's it called? It's showing what this chart is for. It's for attendance, but it's not showing that it's for attendance. So there's no labels, no titles on this. Continuation, yes, the other one is quite good, but you had sum of age. What you added was not sum of age. So that title is wrong. You need to pay attention to that detail to make sure your chart is showcasing what it's meant to showcase. Your map chart is only showing Northern Ireland, and to the best of my knowledge, that's not correct. That looks like the map of the UK, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it looks like UK, but that did not look right. So you need to look into that. The use of the donut chart was good as well, but it was cut off. So that means you need to feed those charts into the part that you've aligned for them. Anyway, you guys will get better at this. Next chart is, I like this one because it showcases, it's sorted one. It showcases who is the most performing. Also showcases the average, and I think this is by stories, right? The sum of number of stories. So something about your titles have to be easily understandable by the layman who's looking at this chart. Yeah, I understand what I'm looking at, but someone else may not be able to understand it. So title your things, your charts better. Also, the labels are pretty good, and the use of colors were good as well. So well done. Paradise, yes, you sorted. Perhaps label with percentage or with numbers. That would be good to see. The next one, I like that you try to merge different categories of PBIs, but maybe this is not the best use of this sort of charts. Maybe you should consider stacked bar charts. I think some of the other guys use stacked bar charts. It will show you more. You have more space to work with things, but it will show you. It will show it in a more appealing way, if you understand what I mean. So Paradises, Tableau. Yeah, if you sorted, I think you sorted some of them, but you sorted from right to left. I think you sorted from left to right. Bar chart's good, map chart is good. Yeah, this you get better at this. Continuation, same thing. Use of Power BI for modeling. You guys showcase this. I did see that some of your tables were not being linked to the relationship was not there. I'm guessing this is while you took the screenshot while you were working on it. Otherwise, it's good to show. Your data cleaning using Excel. You said the data in original form. I saw it on the left, but the clean data is not clean. I don't want to believe that it's clean because you have inconsistencies in your uppercase. For example, in the titles, you have some in completely uppercase and some in proper case, and then you have surname. I'm seeing things like BA in surname, and I know that is not right. So that means your clean data was not correct. So that's that for Team Agile. I'm going to move on to Team Binary. So Team Binary, yes, I like the structure in terms of working as a team, but I'm not so sure it was the right approach. But I do like that you guys delegated parts of the presentation to individuals to handle. But the only problem with that is I'm not able to give individual feedbacks for everything for everybody. But you guys covered some aspects better than the first team. So I'm going to start with the summary of the analysis using Power BI. Okay, so you did some data cleaning, and then on the screenshot, you said the screenshot of data cleaning and transformation process in preparation for analysis and modeling. The right-hand side shows the various filters that have been applied to the data after importing from the source. I don't think this is particularly correct because what you have there is applied steps. And those applied steps, they are not filters. They're more like an audit trail that shows you the changes you've made to your source data. So maybe you should look into that. You can always maybe take some changes off or trace your step back. That's what that applied steps is. So you know that this is what you've done and on your data set. Same thing for the data modeling. Yeah, the relationships were not there, but I do understand that you guys were working on this and you took some screenshots. Also, yeah, good explanation of what the keys are meant to do. In the Tableau by Olabanji. So the Tableau was nice. The dashboard was almost perfect, but I think you should stick to a theme of the color theme. You had a mixture of black and white, and then you had colorful. So you had to decide for your dashboard. You want to stick to a black and white theme, or you want to stick to a colorful theme. And then maybe sometimes look at color palettes that can tell you the best color combination for you to use. But otherwise, this was a good attempt at a dashboard. Everything was showing what was meant to show. Yeah, it was not bad. Next bit was the SQL. Yes, you showcased some SQL queries. The other team did not show that, but this was good marks for you. In terms of Excel, I do have a problem. Even though you try to do a dashboard with Excel, I think you can align it better, and then your bar charts can also be better as well. Then the pie chart, I do have a problem with the pie chart because you said total percent by row. That in itself, as a title, it's not understandable. And then you had some parts of the pie chart that you're supposed to use white. When you have a dark use of color like that, you need to use white text font so that we can see and embolden it. Also, you said total percent. A pie chart usually is to showcase 100% of something, right? But that means you guys did not showcase 100% of something because you're having 390, 580. So that means you didn't clean your data properly. You're supposed to have showed it in some sort of decimal format, and then the percentage will come up nicely. So instead of 390, you'd have maybe 3.39% if it's done correctly. But you guys didn't do that. So that did not come out nice. And your title as well, sum of total parole. I don't think that's the best title to use. Total percent of members present. It is not understandable for any layman to understand what it means. I mean, what you're trying to say with these charts. The use of VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. It was good that you guys showcased it, but you showcased the syntax. You showcased the syntax, but I didn't see the syntax. I didn't see what syntax you ran. So this may have well been a sample that you've seen somewhere. So there was no proof that you guys actually did VLOOKUP because the query is not there. The syntax that you used to run it, the query, the formula rather, it's not in there. So I didn't see that in there. Same for XLOOKUP. But yes, you guys covered that aspect that the other guys did not cover. Yeah, I think I covered everything I have. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Like, I think there's not much for me to kind of add. I think the feedback that everyone gave were very, very detailed. It's just going to be me repeating it again. So I would quickly just move on to the next part, actually. So what is my expectation for you going forward? But I won't say well done to everybody, to be honest. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. And so even the PowerPoint was really on point. Actually, you know how to combine images and also text together. They were brilliant. So well done. I'm really impressed, to be honest. It was even difficult for me to choose a team or even a role. So you guys actually brought your A game anyway. So I want to say well done. So it's good that at this time of the internship, you guys are doing that. So just continue with that. So I think you are on the path to success, to be honest. Even I've seen great improvement even from last week or to this particular week anyway. So 2 weeks ago anyway, last sprint to this particular sprint. And also not only that, on the work as well, right? Which now shows on your board which I think is really, really good. So one thing I want to say now, moving forward, we've got a new project that you're going to do. So, and To be honest, one thing I also want to say, this is feedback to Blue Sky. The fact that we did SharePoint this year, I think is a great success, which we would kind of do it again next time as well. Anyway, but going forward, you are going to add another project to it, which is the e-commerce website. The product owner and the product owners have already spoken to the BAs. They've given them a mandate and everything. So when you do write your CV, you need to put those two projects there. Those are the projects that you worked on with Blue Sky anyway. So that's that. So, but well done for this. Is really, really impressive. Okay. Unfortunately, I won't have to talk a lot today anyway, so but it was good. But there's something I want to do, and going forward, I want to give you a task for the next sprint, right? So yeah, I know Olawumi thought I would speak for a long time, but you guys have really done well. And not only that, the feedback from all the mentors were thorough, were detailed, and which I think is really, really good. There's nothing I don't need to overflog what they've said. Okay. So, Juliet, if you can do something for me, please. Yeah. So if you can stop this recording, so I want